So first off, I guess can you tell me your name and what it is that you do for a living?
Well, my name's Larry Kennedy, and I'm retired from the computer business.
Okay. What type of computer business did you do?
I worked primarily operations for manufacturing companies, and I worked for 31 years for the company that is now IU Health.
So what is it that you collect?
Well, we have several collections, but the primary focus is Hudson automobiles manufactured by the Hudson Motor Car Company in Detroit, Michigan from 1909 until '54. The oldest Hudson we currently have is a 1941 model.
How did you get started in collecting these cars?
Well, I started back in the '60s when these cars were sort of obsolete orphan cars that nobody had much interest in, and I amassed a large collection of them back in my teenage years.
Okay. Like how early in the teenage years did you start collecting?
I bought the first Hudson when I was 12. I talked my mother into it as it was going to be a science project, and it did turn out to be that. I really learned how automobiles work from that car.
Wow. So it started really young.
Sure.
I think at 12, I'm trying to think what I was doing at the time, playing on the playground with my friends and around that age. So how many cars, I guess, total would you say you've owned?
Well, the only thing, that's a little hard to say, but I have kept track of the Hudsons, and I have had 318 Hudsons.
Wow,
to date.
318.
Yeah. So a lot of the cars that were, several of the cars that were at this Hudson meet we just put on down in French Lick are cars that I've owned in the past, and that basically saved from the junk 40 years ago or later.
What's the primary reason that you collect the cars?
Well, it started out, they were just transportation to something I thought was interesting. They were well-engineered, durable cars, and really just drove them as everyday cars. And then the nicer cars we kept in good storage. And I restored my first Hudson convertible when I was 20 years old. I do still have that car, and it's a 1950 Hudson Commodore 8 convertible. We have several other Hudson convertibles now, but it all started out as just a primary transportation, and they served us well for many years. And we joined the Hudson Club, and had a lot of fun, made a lot of friends, lifelong friends in the Hudson Club.
How many members are in the Hudson Club? Do you know?
There are about 2,800 today. The membership is really declining as a lot of people that are interested in these cars are elderly now and are passing away.
I imagine the price of the cars has something to do with it too.
Well, yeah, the cars have gotten expensive.
The older they get, the more expensive they get.
Well,
so,
but
most people have a hard time saving anything. So.
There are some new people in the Hudson Club. We are attracting a younger audience with the Hudson cars had a lot of exposure in the little movie, Pixar movie Cars. The Doc Hudson character in there really reminded a lot of people about the Hudsons and what they are.
Huh.
Actually, a little story about the Hudson being the National Stock Car Champion is actually true.
Oh.
That did happen. They were the National Stock Car Champion. 51 to 54. There's a record that they still hold. They won the first 28 races in the 1952 Grand National season.
Wow.
It's a record that no other manufacturer has ever won the first 28 races in any given year. So.
Wow, that is really impressive. So what do you do for fun outside of your collection?
Oh, I don't know. We travel to vacation a lot. Travel around the country in our collector cars, and
you guys get a lot of people like kind of asking about your cars and that you drive and.
Well, really, we have friends all over the country that people we've met years ago in the Hudson Club and become friends with. We can travel to about any destination and find somebody that we know.
Hmm. So do you race any of your old friends?
Actually, there is. I do have my old drag car from back in the that I built like 40 years ago, and there are some events that that car is eligible for, and we do go drag racing at least once a year.
Nice. Do you win a lot?
Well, these races are just for fun,
yeah.
really. It's not really.
He's like, I don't like to brag, but so. Okay.
Well, and you don't want to break your expensive car.
Yeah, that's true too. I'm sure those little brakes are thousands and thousands of dollars to fix. So, what's the primary reason that you started collecting cars?
Oh, it was really there's a culture in collecting things, and we have several collections. The Hudsons are just the primary focus. I have some Chrysler products, and we have collections of other memorabilia and parts and things from the mid-century.
Would you consider yourself to be an active collector or a passive collector?
Oh, I'd say I'm very active. Sure, I still buying collections of cars whenever they're available, or a single car if it's something that I decide I want. Really like nice original cars are really what I like the best, or to find cars that are 60 years old and still basically in like new condition.
Okay.
They've always been well kept. That's my favorite.
In what ways do you share, I guess, your collection with others? I know you mentioned the Hudson Club, and
Well, we get our cars out on the road and drive them. In 2013, we drove one of the Hudsons, a '49 Hudson Commodore sedan, on a 5,500-mile trip to California. Drove out Old Route 66, and the exposure these cars get actually being driven and on the road is just incredible. The reaction you get. Every place you stop, a lot of people will come over and look at the car and comment. It's
how many cars do you own?
My wife and I have about 60 cars right
60
now.
cars, wow. Where do you keep them all?
Well, I have a pole barn here at home, and 6 of the cars are on display in museums. 4 up in the Natmas Museum in Auburn, Indiana, and 2 up in Hartford, Wisconsin. So. And again, that's more exposure. More people get to see these cars there than if they're sitting down here in my barn.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So do you have I guess many people come by and ask to look at your collection, or like anybody?
Yeah, I do. There are people, come and want to see the cars.
Yeah, besides us, I guess.
Yeah, well, sure.
Yeah, I had 2 guys come by today, actually.
Yeah, it's the strangest thing.
Do any of these cars have any specific, I guess, sentimental value to you?
Well, sure. Well, a lot of these cars I've had for many years. I've driven them as cars, driven them on trips all over the country. Of course, yeah.
Do you have any cars that you restored that you won't drive because they're just so nice, or?
Well, yeah, I drive them all. I don't own a car trailer. My cars all run and drive. A lot of the people, sometimes we participate in these concours car shows, and most of the people there transport their cars in enclosed trailers, and we drive them and then clean the bugs off of them. Yeah.
Can you tell us a story about anything specific about any of your cars that you'd like to share?
I have a '53 Hudson Hornet sedan that I bought when I was 17. That I've drove for many years as an everyday car, and I put about 80,000 miles on it over the years, and have quite an attachment to it. Have a '51 Hudson Commodore that I recently gave to my daughter, which was the 4th Hudson I bought. I had it since I was 13, so I just gave that car to her last year, and she's been driving it and enjoying it in the summer months.
Does she, I guess, have an interest in cars like you, or?
She does. She is her husband is the son of an old friend of mine in the Hudson Club, and their family has a collection of cars as well. He's currently the vice president of the National Hudson Club, so
wow.
They definitely have an interest in the old cars.
What do you know about your collection that other people might not know?
Oh, I don't know. I think until recently, with the Pixar movie coming out, most of the population doesn't really know what a Hudson is. We just got this car out of several years storage here, and I'm going to bring it back to life. This is the same kind of car that was in the book On the Road, written by Jack Kerouac, sort of an autobiographical piece that is credited with starting the beatnik movement, and it's depicted in a recent movie by that name.
Would you say there's like a holy grail for your collection? Like if there was something out there like that you could get where you're like, okay, I'm done. Like this is it. This is. Do you think there is such a thing?
I've I really have just about everything I want.
Okay.
I have all that I ever dreamed of having and more, really.
So now it's just if you see something that you think is interesting that you might really like, then you'll probably.
Yeah, I recently bought a collection of 3 cars and a huge volume of parts to get one car out of the collection that I wanted.
what steps are you taking to preserve the history, I guess, of these cars?
Oh, well, we're involved with the Hudson Historical Society, and actually they're going to have a grand opening of their museum up in Ypsilanti, Michigan here September 19th and 20th, just coming up here next month. So,
Okay.
we're involved with the Historical Society, and I've been involved with that for some years, helped establish a library. We, of course, accept donations of cars and parts and, memorabilia. It has to do with Hudson Motor Car Company, for the Historical Society. So I think a lot of the history is going to be saved. Hudson Motor Car Company started business in 1909, and they're one of the pioneer automakers. They invented the counterbalance crankshaft in 1915, revolutionized the gasoline engine. 1922, they came out with a Hudson Coach, was actually one of the first enclosed cars. Up to that point, only very expensive cars had enclosed bodies. All the other cars were open touring cars.
So you mentioned, so it was 1904 was when Hudson started?
1909.
1909. Do you know when the last one was made?
Yes, the Hudson and Nash Kelvinator merged in 1954 to form American Motors. And the last car with the Hudson and a Nash badge on them were made in 1957.
Okay.
So American Motors continued through 1987, at which point they were purchased by Chrysler Corporation.
Oh,
I
okay.
think mainly to get their dealer network and the Jeep. Of course, the Jeep is still being produced today.
Would you say that your collection defines you?
In a way, I suppose.
Okay, like, so I guess people, yeah, I guess, come get to know you. That's what they know you for, kind of thing.
Yeah, probably so. I have other collections as too. I have some Chrysler products from the 60s and 70s, and
Yeah, that's going to be my next question. Is what else do you collect?
well, I've collected antique radios since I was a kid. Collect rotary dial AT&T Western Electric phones, are manufactured here on Shadeland Avenue on the east side of Indianapolis. At one point, that factory had about 8,000 employees and used more plastics than any other factory on the planet.
Really? Wow.
Today, it's a paintball range, which is unfortunate.
Oh, I know that paintball place. been shot there many times. My next question is, what does the rest of your family think of your collection? Even though you mentioned your daughter is pretty into it.
Oh yeah. I'd say. Well, I have a small family really. My parents were always, they were always encouraged me to, what I did, and facilitated me doing it. So, and it's turned out quite well for me.
So what do you think will happen to your collection? Say when the inevitable happens.
Well, sure.
What do you think is going to happen to all your cars?
Well, I don't know. I would imagine that my daughter and son-in-law will probably keep the bulk of them.
Okay. Imagine maybe some of them go into a museum, other museums and things. Or...
It's hard to say. Yeah. And my wife as well. She has part of the collection is hers. She has 7 of the collector cars are hers. She has 3 Hudson convertibles here. So
Okay.
very nicely restored cars.
Yeah, it's nice to have a spouse that's involved in the whatever hobbies and things that you're into as well.
Well, sure.
And I guess my last question to you is what is it that matters most to you in your life?
Oh, I don't know. I would say it would be my friends and my family, and just trying to enjoy life and further my collections, I suppose.
Okay. So just gonna keep on collecting all the way to the end, right?
As long as I can.
Awesome. Okay.
Well, we also do our own automotive restorations here. We just finished the 53 Hudson Hornet convertible, and we've got a 54 Hudson that we're working on now, and some other projects that are in the wings here. So.
Okay. Wow. Well,
So.
look forward to checking out what you got, here on the property, and just kind of seeing what you want to show us, because it sounds like a really cool collection. I'd like to see what you got. So.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, thanks for taking the time to sit down with us and chat. I appreciate it. I know our being able to share your life and the things that that are important to you and your family, and just kind of getting a glimpse of what it means to you. That's been is really cool. So
Well, thanks for coming out, guys.
thanks.